Welcome again to another waffle. I actually stopped myself from doing something because I suddenly thought maybe somebody else might be interested in what I was up to. So this is a waffle chat, however you want to put it, to go along with a blog. I will tell you now that the blog is looking extremely long, but if you do want to read it, it will be over there on the Kitchen Witch site. But yes, at the moment it is looking like rather a long one, because what I want to talk about is this. It's called A Rose of Jericho. I've had this one since 2016. She's not a rose. I will get her out of her box so that you can see. This is her original box. I am very delicate with her. I look after her. This is my Rose of Jericho. So you can see. Also known as the resurrection plant, the flower of Miriam, the flower of Fatima. So yeah, it looks like, up close, a dried, dead plant of some kind. So the clue is in one of its other names, resurrection plant, because you put this in some water and she awakens. So I've tend to use a glass dish, like this. It's an old pie dish, and I sit her in here with water, because when she opens up, she actually gets quite big, surprisingly. And as you can see, at the moment she's very brown. So when she first opens up, she remains brown, but then as the days go on, she gets greener and bits fall off her, which is what I'm coming to, because there are also bits that have dropped off her now and that are in her little box, bed box. So yes, so I'm not about to awaken her today. I was literally wanting her dried, dropped bits. Thank you very much. So I'll just put her to one side safely. So you're saying, okay, so what's all this about then? What's this doing on Kitchen Witch? Because actually, the Rose of Jericho is amazingly magical and has been used for centuries in different cultures. She's primarily, I think they can be found growing in some parts of Mexico and southern United States. Primarily, the ones we tend to find over here in the UK tend to be from the Middle East, Africa, Middle East, Mediterranean areas. But you can find them mentioned in the Bible. It's supposedly, now if I'm right on this, when Jonah was in the whale, when the whale finally vomited him up, the spot where he landed, that's where a Rose of Jericho was said to have grown as a resurrection plant. Around the Mediterranean, in Catholic countries, very strong Roman Catholic countries, that apparently it has a very strong association to Jesus because of his crucifixion and his resurrection. And in some places is found regularly growing in homes, in a bowl of water, primarily at Christmas and at Easter, but sometimes the whole year round, because it is thought to bring the promise of new beginnings, renewal, happiness, prosperity. Hoodoo practitioners incorporate the Rose of Jericho into their conjuring spells to attract prosperity and success, primarily prosperity, which I'll come to, but also protection. in Santeria. Sorry to anybody that practices that, if I have said that wrong. It's actually associated with the Orisha Shango, who is the spirit of thunder and lightning. And the plant is placed on their altar as an offering as honour and to seek protection. And it's also believed to bring joy and happiness to those that bless themselves with the plant. In voodoo, it is used in voodoo. Let me just plug brain cell in. It is used in spiritual and rituals, I think, because it's, again, I think it's to do with its protective properties, but also in rituals because of its abundance and good fortune. So like I said, to awaken it, you literally just plant it in water and it gradually opens up. As I said, considering this is literally, as you can see, the size of my palm, it will actually open up quite large. They are remarkably beautiful in a very weird way because they've got quite delicate, like fern-like, frond-like leaves. So yeah, in a very strange way, they are amazingly beautiful. It needs to be kept at a roughly the same temperature, so between 60 to 75 degrees, I think, is what is recommended on the box, which I think equates to must equate to something like 15 to 24 degrees centigrade, I think. This one's only got Fahrenheit, which is interesting, since in this country we work in Celsius, but there we go. So yeah, you literally just look after it in a bowl of water, and the water is magical because it's got the plant in it, and the plant is magical. So people use the water because you need to change the water every couple of days because otherwise it'll go stagnant. But you don't throw that water out. That water you can use to anoint yourself, you can use it to anoint candles, you can use it to anoint any ritual objects that you are using. I've also seen people say that they've used it in floor washes or in any wash around the house to bring in protection, to bring in prosperity. So if you wanted to, you could anoint your doors, you could put sigils on your doors. So yeah, so its actual magical properties are purification, protection, prosperity, love, and healing. So yes, so the water, as I say, that you're going to change every couple of days while you are letting your rose do its thing, you can use for all sorts. You can bottle it, as I say, to keep for when you put it back to sleep. But yeah, floor washes. That's what I used it on. Windows, cleaning the windows. You only need a few drops. But yeah. Which brings me to what I was doing today, which was making Rose of Jericho oil. Because, as I said, she drops her little dried bits and pieces, which she dropped as I picked her out. And there's also a couple of bits in here where she's been asleep. And the oil, you can do exactly the same as you can with wash. It is very potent magic, very spiritual. So you can use it to anoint yourself. You can use it to anoint doors, windows, car, whatever. I tend to only make small batches at a time. So as you can see, this is a 10 ml bottle and I haven't filled it with oil. You can use any oil that you have to hand. So olive oil, sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, almond oil, whatever you've got to hand. Because you literally just use a drop at a time. You don't need a huge amount. So, and then, very technical, you literally just drop the dried bits that she has very kindly released. There's another bit. This actually, I'm just going to see if this will show on camera. I'm not sure it will, but we will try. Ooh, can you see that frond like where it's curled up on itself? Probably not that clearly, but yeah. So that's going in my bottle. The only thing you need to make sure is that your bottle has got a large enough opening, because some very pretty bottles, but they have very small actual necks. So you need to use, I tend to try and use a bottle that's coloured, because then it just saves it from being affected by light if I leave it out and about, which I don't usually. So yeah, so then you just give it a little shake to make sure that the oil is completely around the things that you've put in there. And most importantly, because if you're like me, memory of a sieve, I forget what's in there and I think, oh, what was that? Which I might get a clue, because obviously there's little bits in there, but I do make rosemary oil as well, so it could be rosemary. So yeah, little label just to say it's Rose of Jericho oil and the date, so that I know when I look in my cupboard at my shelf what I'm actually pulling out, which is quite useful. And as I say, again, it's just a tiny little drop that you can use either to anoint yourself, or to place as a sigil, if you want to draw a sigil on something. Very handy to have. And there are a couple of spells that you can do with them. So I found a good luck, this is all on the blog, so if you want to pop across and look at the blog. So there's a good luck candle spell that you can use either water, oil, or oil on. If you use water, you need to make sure you let it air dry first, because otherwise it just won't light properly. And it's quite handy because you literally, it's like a 7-day spell, but you can do it for as long as you want, basically. And then there is another one, which is a protection spell. I can't remember where I got this from. That's my main problem. Sorry, if you saw me shaking my head, my husband was about to let Bazzy in, and then she would start banging at me because she's going blind. So she can't always see where I am. So she likes to be able to touch me. So yeah, if you saw me doing that, it was to say, no, I haven't quite finished. So yeah, so I cannot remember where I heard this bit from, and I cannot find it. I can't find it in any of my books, and I can't find it online. But when she is open and you want to protect something, you can write that on a piece of paper and then place it in the middle while she's open. Then if you want that protection to continue whilst she's asleep, which is really strong, because as you can see, she curls up into a very, very tight ball. You leave the paper, you take her out of the water so that she starts to dry out. And as she dries out, her leaves all come round that bit of paper and it stays in there. So it stays protected. So whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever it is, continues to be protected, even though she's sleeping, she's resting, but they are still protected with her magic. But I cannot now find where I know to do that from. So I've obviously picked it up from somewhere. I've been told it or I've read it. I cannot find it anywhere. So if somebody out there knows where that's coming from, please, can you put it in the comments down below? I would be really grateful. Thank you very much. As I say, this was literally just to let you know that I was in the process of doing something. I hope this is useful to you and that you enjoy it. Make comments, and if you are interested, there is more information over in the blog. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. See you next time.